Unravel with Natalie Denise.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Nightly with Natalie / The Daily Traffic. Sorry that there's a little lower lighting than usual. One of my lights went kaput just now. One of the wires, got shorted, and it just died on me. Great. Fantastic. What's going on, chat? I see Susan, Keem, Mark, the only Warnley, Stacy. Thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate you guys. Yeah, so tomorrow I will actually not be streaming. I had some plans come up, and so I will not be here tomorrow, just FYI. But let's go ahead. There's a lot that I want to cover today, and some of this is going to be kind of like a live research for what I'm going to create for tomorrow's video on my main YouTube. So I think this would be a to see how I kind of go about like my research. And that was weird. What's going on? Okay. This screen just flashed black. I don't know what the heck's going on. All right, so anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, there's just so much to go through with the Okay, first of all, before I begin, let me just say this, because I've seen this comment quite a bit where people are like, "Who cares about Russia versus Ukraine? This is America. Who cares?" It's like, guys, you realize that the US is allied with NATO, right? And by the likes of how Biden is holding down and how he's handling things and the way he's babbling about, he could very well push us into something very murky. Okay. So we got to kind of worry about international affairs that the US is also allegedly provoking. We've got to be keen to this. Okay. So yeah, this is interesting to me. And as well as, this is possibly a World War III. How do you not become interested? Do you think that people back in World War II or back in World War I, they were just kind of like, who cares? This is America. Like, let's not pay attention to things. Like, I believe we can do both. I think we can do both things, but I think the way that the US responds is very interesting, and the way that people are involved in Ukraine is very interesting. So I'm going to do a live dig here, and we're going to take a look at this because I find this very strange and interesting. Pro-Russian mayor this morning of city in eastern Ukraine who welcomed Putin's invasion is found shot dead in the street after being kidnapped from his home. The pro-Russian mayor of a city in eastern Ukraine, this is coming from the Daily Mail, who welcomed President Vladimir Putin's invasion, was shot dead after being kidnapped from his home. Now, I tried to research this mayor, and what's very strange is that there's not a lot of information that's being offered. I think it's being really scrubbed off the internet, which is very, very, it seems nefarious a little bit. Says Volodymyr Struk of Crimea in Luhansk was killed on Tuesday and suffered a gunshot wound to the heart after he was abducted from his home, according to his wife. You would think that there would be more news about this. You would think that there would be a lot more detail. I think the furthest that we know is that there were people in camo that abducted him, but nothing else. Like, there's no other details coming out of this. Announcing on the news on Facebook, the advisor of Interior Minister of Ukraine, Anton Gerashenko, claimed Mr. Struk was a Luhansk People Republic supporter and actively pursued a pro-Russian position in the last week by communicating with the Russian Federation. The Luhansk People Republic is a self-proclaimed breakaway state located within eastern Ukraine that was established in 2014 by pro-Russian separatists. I think this is an important piece right here. Of course, they blur out his image. I was actually able to see the uncensored image. And what I will say, because obviously I can't even show it on this platform, is that it looked to be like there were some signs of torture. The Luhansk People Republic is itself a self-proclaimed breakaway state located within eastern Ukraine that was established in 2014 by pro-Russian separatists, and that's closer to Russia. The advisor for Interior Minister of Ukraine alleged that Mr. Strzok was judged by a court of the People's Tribunal and called him a traitor. He also claimed Ukraine has not been able to do anything with Strzok for the past 8 years, since Moscow-backed separatists have controlled the southeastern Ukrainian regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, collectively known as Donbass. Mr. Gerashenko wrote on social media, one traitor, this is Mr. Gerashenko right here, down here, this is him, this is the person who's, I'm about to read his quote out. He says, Mr. Gerashenko wrote on social media, one traitor of Ukraine became less. Vladimir Strzok, the former regional council and the head of Kremensk was found killed. In 2014, he was an active supporter of the LPR and left for a part of Luhansk region free from a temporary occupation, and was twice elected the head of Kremenskoy, OTG. In the last week, he actively took the Russian position, campaigning OTG deputies to communicate with the Russian Federation and the LNR, gathering deputies on his matter. On March 1st, there was a statement from his wife that he was kidnapped from the persons unknown in camouflage form. The cause of death is a fiery injury to the heart area. He added, the whole state apparatus of Ukraine, SBU Ministry of the Internal Affairs Prosecutor's Office, and courts couldn't do anything with the open separatists. Struck him for 8 years because he had a lot of money, most likely support from the Russian Federation. But when, go away. When the Russian troops approached 15 kilometers from Kremenny, Vladimir Strzok was judged by the court of the People's Tribunal. Judging by all, he was shot by unknown patriots as a traitor to the laws of the military time. So why are they not? This seems like vigilantes, right? Like this seems to be like a vigilante type of scheme, not necessarily like a military tribunal. Why would they? Because they said it was the People's Court, not. That's strange. They're not really mentioning a lot of military traits in what they did. It continues, when we soon defeat fascist Russia, we will clean and relocate all of the law enforcement officers and corrupt judges who covered up such as Strzok. Confirming the news, Twitter user Ukraine War News added, the head of Kremenets, OTG Vladimir Strzok, who welcomed Russia's invasion of Ukraine, was found dead. He was an active supporter of the so-called LPR, and since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, he was actively called on local deputies to cooperate with Russians. All right. So I'm actually going to do just a quick search here. What is here we go. Vladimir Strzok. Look, you guys are going to see it with me. I'm going to try via DuckDuckGo. A DuckDuckGo search. Vladimir Strzok wife. I know Wicca is the best, but why is this doing it now? Not strange. Okay, let's try one more time. Okay, let's go to Wikipedia. Sometimes these people give off their wives. Died March 2nd. It doesn't list his wife. So let's do this again. Actually, I know it's a better one. Yandex. Okay. Okay, so let's try to get a little bit more sauce on this. Here we go. No, that's Zelensky. Mayor shot to death. Vladimir. So it's not, I guess, because this is Yandex. So there's going to be a lot of people named Vladimir Struck, I guess, or it's going to be common. Okay. So then let's go back to DuckDuckGo. Wife. Okay, let's see. Let's just park that tab right there. Pro-Russian mayor in eastern Ukrainian city of Kreminna. Showbiz corner. Obituary. Okay, no. So they're not gonna. Let's just take a look at this version coming from the New York Post. Pro-Russian mayor of Ukrainian city reportedly killed after being kidnapped from home. He has been killed. His wife told police that he had been kidnapped by camouflage. So this is the angle that I'm going to try to search here. His wife. There is one less traitor in Ukraine. That's what Gerashenko said. And this is a less censored. See, you guys can see the hands there. It looks like there's some sign of torture. Sorry, I should have warned you guys. They're just, let me see. Okay, so there's not a lot of juice on that. You see what I mean? Like, this is, it's very strange that I can't find, I mean, this is a mayor of a city. Why can't you find more? It's almost as if they're hiding more. And these are the same headlines. These are just aggregated news sites. So it's going to be the same thing. Okay, so there will be more on that. I'm going to try to research this a little bit more after the podcast. I thought that maybe I'd be able to find more, but also you guys are my witness. I can't really find much. Yandex. I did try Yandex. Thank you, Keem, for modding for me. Hey, Johnny, what's going on? Okay, so I tried to search Vladimir Struck's wife. Can't find it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more offline to see if I can really dig for more information about Vladimir Struck. I have curious thoughts if Vladimir Struck had close relations with Viktor, the twice previous president that actually got overthrown by the Ukrainian revolution, as they say. We have ideas that George I. Flaps had a lot to do with that, with the Orange Revolution. Okay, but so taking this death, right? This is a little bit shocking because this is a mayor to a Ukrainian city. Now there was another oligarch that was found dead. Ukrainian oligarch found dead in the UK mansion. Now this seems like there would be a lot more juice. So I'm going to actually research both these subjects. But it says here from the New York Post, an investigation is underway, and a Ukrainian oligarch was found dead in his British mansion earlier this week, police revealed Thursday. Mikhail Watford was pronounced dead after authorities were called to his home in Surrey, just outside London, on Monday at about midday. Authorities said that the circumstances surrounding the tycoon's death didn't appear to be suspicious, but they called it unexplained. The father of three who made his fortune in oil and gas after the demise of the Soviet Union was found hanged in his garage, the Sun reported. Okay, I'm actually his friend told at the time attempted murder or Russian dual agent Sergei. Okay, this is another one. Uh, Former Russian double agent Sergei. This is another one that I got to park. So I'm doing some killing two birds with one stone here. I'm giving you guys a podcast as well as doing some research on my video tomorrow. Former Russian. Okay, poisoning of Sergei. So I'm gonna park that. Okay, his associates and friends told the outlet that the timing of his death raised, especially following attempted murder of former Russian double agent Sergei. Sergei Skripal on UK soil. His state of mind might have been affected by the situation in Ukraine, a family friend claimed. The timing of his death and the invasion of Ukraine was surely not coincidental. Surely not. I don't think so. I don't think so. I wonder if Mikhail, I mean, he was Ukrainian, a Ukrainian oligarch, but I just wonder what the circumstances are. Another unnamed associate said, after all the other suspicious deaths of Russian nationals and associates in the UK, it's only natural there will be a speculation about his death. So it makes me wonder if he was sided with the Russians. Watford was born Mikhail Tolstoshaya in Ukraine, but changed his surname when he moved to the UK. He lived in a Surrey mansion with his Estonian wife, Jane, after they moved from London, according to a 2015 Sunday Times profile. Okay, so I'm going to have to look that up as well. Is 2015. That's it. That's all we get. That's all we get. Oh, I'm going to dig on this. There's more to this story for sure. 100%. 100%. There's a lot more to the story. You guys want to dive down this rabbit hole with me? Let's see. All these tabs are going to crush my computer. Mikhail, Ukrainian oligarch. Okay, so let's go to the sun because that's where it's going to point us. Russian tycoon Mikhail. Okay, so why did they call him Ukrainian oligarch? Ukrainian oligarch. And here in the sun, it's saying Russian tycoon Mikhail. Maybe he made his fortune in Ukraine? Let me see. What else? Let's take a look here. So let's see what those are two conflicting headlines. Ukrainian oligarch found dead, but they're saying he was a Russian tycoon. So maybe he was a Russian oligarch living in Ukraine. Okay, let's take a dive. Let's look at this version here. A Russian Watford was founded by a gardener on the Wentworth estate in Virginia water right on Monday. Police are probing the death of Mikhail. The father of three made his fortune from oil refineries in Ukraine, then set up a property firm after moving to Britain. Police are probing the death as the utmost seriousness amid fears he could have been first on a hit list. Moscow has been linked to a number of exile deaths in Britain. Okay, so now that reveals a lot more. It looks to be that maybe he is Russian. Maybe he made ties in Ukraine. And somehow with the oil and gas industry, because this is a big factor in the war as well. Maybe he crossed the Russian elite. A family friend said his state of mind might have been affected by the situation in Ukraine. I doubt it. The timing of his death and the invasion of Ukraine surely not coincidental. Another associate said his death raises questions after all of the other suspicious deaths of Russian nationals and associates in the UK. It's only natural that there will be speculation about his death. And Mr. Watford changed his name. He lived with his Estonian wife. The couple appeared in the Sunday Times property article where they were selling their house in 2015. Here's another clue. Where they boasted of their opulent lifestyle of private jets and country mansions. He later moved to Dormy House, a period villa divided into apartments. His Russian mother lived next door in one of them and was at home when her son's body was found. A source said it's truly shocking as Mikhail had everything to live for. He had a beautiful wife, children, a dream home. It makes no sense at all. After Mr. Watford's death, Jane shared a picture of her kissing him while they were holding a cigar on Facebook. Yesterday, Surrey police said an investigation into the circumstances of his death is underway, but it is not believed that there are any suspicious. It is not believed that there are any suspicious circumstances at this time. Well, that's suspicion in itself. Let me see what you guys are saying. I don't know. It depends on what side he was because it's conflicting with the headlines. One headline is saying that he's a Russian tycoon. The other one saying that he is a Ukrainian oligarch. So who knows what exactly he got involved with. So more to come on that. I just thought that I'd do some first initial research on that. Okay, so we learned of this just a few minutes ago. A nuclear plant in Zaporizhzhia in Ukraine was allegedly on fire. Now, the thing about this is it's very suspect because they're saying it's a Russian provoked thing. Ukraine calls Russia a nuclear terror as a plant burns after the attack. Now, I published a video today on my main YouTube. Go check it out. It's called False Zelensky Photos. And we basically did a 30-minute dig on, all of these propagandized photos that were spread out on social media saying that Zelensky was on the front lines and he really wasn't. We did some digging on Zelensky. He's actually previous to him becoming president, he was actually a comedian and a producer. He held a producing company called Cartel 95, Kavartel 95. Almost said cartel. Kavartel 95, and some of his higher level executives or higher level ups at Kavartel 95 production company actually became the head of state. He took his executives with him when he became president. That's very interesting, right? So I say that, why are there polar bears? Gosh darn, New York Post. They always put like these incongruent videos when I'm talking about something. It's so disrespectful. Okay, so I mentioned all that because now I look at headlines a lot more different, right? When mainstream sources, whether they are conservative or liberal, when they are all propagandizing that Ukraine is the absolute monster and terror and that Russia is doing these things, you got to stand back and just wait. So a lot of these stories, I'm going to just wait. And I'm sure overnight, as I let this, unravel for itself, I have a lot more details to be able to compare and analyze. But for now, it's just too short timing for us to know this for right now. But allegedly, there was a fire. I'm just going to say this in the most neutral terms. There was a fire at this nuclear power plant in Ukraine. I just got a notice a couple minutes ago that apparently the reactors at this nuclear power plant were safe. They were very well protected. This doesn't sound like the Russians to me. I'm just going to be completely honest with you because the Russians were actually able to take out specific locations. You guys already know this suspicion about the laboratories. I'm not going to say the first part of that word, but they were able to take out those laboratories very strategically, and they were able to capture certain cities. So these are some very important wins for the Russians. I'm saying this because if they were strategic enough to take out those laboratories in Ukraine, very specifically, very targeted, do you think that they would attempt the nuclear power plant and not be successful in that particular way? Another aspect to this is that this is indeed a nuclear power plant. So this is could be very bad if that were to happen. So this almost seems to be like a false flag, possibly. Now, again, I know a lot of people are so on edge about news about Ukraine and Russia because there's so much misinformation out there. Truly, truly, truly. But I just feel like this there's to be something more. Well, we'll see. Uh, Boris Johnson and they and oh my gosh, what's going on? Do you guys see this? That my screens are blacking out? What's happening right now? What is happening? I don't understand. Okay. Please comment below if you also had a black screen. Okay. So, the trafficking news for today. This is starting off in Virginia. A North Carolina man is sentenced for multi-state sex trafficking of a child. Charlotte, North Carolina man was sentenced today to 18 years in prison for sex trafficking an Ohio child in numerous states, including Virginia, according to court documents in November of 2020. Anthony Jermaine Foreman, 26 years old, persuaded a 14-year-old minor from Ohio on social media to join him to travel to various states to engage in prostitution with promises that he would take care of her. Instead, he used drugs and violence to force her to continue prostituting herself in North Carolina, Florida, South Carolina, Delaware, Georgia, and Virginia. Foreman also filmed his sexual encounters with the minor victim and transported his child pornography from South Carolina to Virginia. In December of 2020, the child was found in Hampton with Foreman, and he was arrested shortly thereafter. This almost seems to be like a same exact carbon copy of yesterday's story. You guys remember yesterday's story where we talked about this Clayton man from Georgia who met this 13-year-old girl on it's a kids gaming app called Roblox, and he convinced her to go with him, and so she went with him. He picked her up. He drove cross country to go get her, brought her back to Georgia, and where he basically raped and trafficked her. And there came a point where she was just like, something just doesn't feel right. And she called her mom. Well, no, she didn't call her mom. She actually contacted her mom through the game Roblox. And she was able to contact law enforcement. But this is almost the same exact scenario. This is just another time, some other people. It's very scary that this is happening on social media platforms and gaming apps, and it's repetitive. All right, next story coming from timeout.com. Weird news of the week. Singapore is expecting a very macabre package. Fancy a human hand as a fashion accessory. Jokes aside, Brazilian federal police have revealed that a human hand, along with 3 packets of human placenta, have been shipped from a Brazilian university and are currently making their way to Singapore shores. The anti-trafficking raid was carried out at the Amazonas State University that found out that an anatomy professor is suspecting of trafficking the organs. The police claim that the accused is said to have sent plastinated human organs from Manaus and is allegedly bound for a famous Indonesian designer who sells accessories and clothing using materials of human origin. Okay, this is another story that I'm going to have to do. Wow. I love these podcasts because sometimes I just like find my subjects right here and then. It's like, again, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm going to have to find this designer. I wonder who this is. From Manaus. Let me actually copy that. Plastination is a modern process of removing bodily fluids such as water and fixing solutions through chemical methods and replacing them for plastic resins like silicone and epoxy to preserve the body parts. The professor is now under investigation. The package is allegedly bound for Indonesian fashion designer and influencer Arnold Putra. Putra, who isn't one shot to shy away from controversy. Fascinated with human body parts, he made headlines for creating a handbag made of human spines in 2020. Putra, however, claimed that these parts were ethically sourced from a medical surplus in Canada. Ew! And has papers to prove it. Putra, however, has come forward to deny any involvement in trafficking and said that the body parts. He also defended his human spine bag, branding it as a piece of work, that accused him of bones and organs for his clothes and accessories were false. He also explained pieces that he created over the years, his personal projects, with no mention of intention to is illegal countries. It is not clear whether the shipment has been intercepted on its way to Singapore. So stay tuned for more. Okay, I got to do this right now before my mind gets blown about this. So let's research this guy, Arnold Putra. This is from 2020. We'll take a look. This is from Insider. Oh, look at that. Ew. You guys see this? Oh my gosh. This is, I mean, why would you need an actual human spine? You know what I mean? I guess like rich people just like they run out of fun things to do. They just push the boundaries and they need this. So he's accused of organ trafficking. This is from 2020. A flamboyant Instagram fashion star is selling a handbag he says is made from human spine, ethically sourced from Canada. You guys know that Canada keeps finding these graves, right? These random graves everywhere. An Indonesian fashion designer is selling from human spine, which he says comes from a medical surplus in Canada. The item caused outrage online and prompted Insider to find out everything possible about the item and we might have come from. The handbag is $5,000, a one-off piece by designer Arnold Putra. I thought he said he doesn't profit from these things. We just read that. The handbag is $5,000 from designer Arnold Putra, which is first went on sale in 2016. It is a basket-style handbag with a handle formed on what it appears to be a single human spinal cord. Experts told Insider they believed it was genuine. Putra lives a flamboyant lifestyle full of exotic travel, luxury, and high fashion. He was name checked by the Rich Kids of Instagram account in 2017. He was described by Tatler Indonesia as one of the most prolific car collectors in Indonesia. Oh, this gets even deeper. He's been pictured with fashion celebrities like Michelle Lamy on his profile. You guys know who that is? Michelle Lamy is the wife of Rick Owens. Let me show you guys. And I mean, Rick Owens, I like his fashion, but there is a lot of occultic symbolism. But I'm not going to guilt by association. He was just pictured with her. I think that's fair to say. I'm just saying. Sometimes people are just macabre and they go a little bit too far. Exhibit A by his spinal bag. So it says a second Instagram account by Arnold Putra details in fashion line. The posts include the spine handbag, which has also been marketed for sale on some fashion sites. Listen to this. Listen to this. Oh, I'm definitely going to do a video on this. I'm going to research this offline once I get off the podcast. Listen to this. The By Arnold Putra post included a description that said that the bag was made of an entire child's spine who had osteoporosis. Putra told Insider his account was run by someone else and he had contributed to it. Putra did not say, despite several inquiries, whether the spine was really belonged to a child. Here it is right here. And then you have like these sheep who are just like super amazing, like don't even question nothing. Okay. Insider contacted two child osteopaths and showed them pictures of the bag. Both said it was almost certainly a real human spine, but they did not agree whether it belonged to a child. The bag was posted on social media in 2016 on the By Arnold Putra account, and it was since appeared on Putra's Arnold Putra travel account and on a website and social media of the UK distributor, The Unconventional. And for a long time, nobody paid much attention. But then on March 23rd, the attentive 19-year-old student and curator named Maxim posted a screenshot from By Arnold Putra to his Twitter account, WQB Isabi. From there, it was widely shared, often accompanied by outrage. And then people started bombarding. Here's some comments here. One explanation came from The Unconventional, whose representative replied to WhatsApp query that was shared on social media and later confirmed as a genuine by Insider. The reply said he exchanges luxury items with the ancient tribes for items that are considered precious to them. Okay, let's stop right there. Hold on. Let's stop right there. He exchanges luxury items with ancient tribes for items that are considered precious to them. Okay, so this isn't really vetted then, right? So you're saying that it comes from like some humane process of obtaining these body parts, but then there's some other insider in the fashion industry saying that, oh, you go to ancient tribes and trade. And with sometimes with these with some tribes, I'm not saying all tribes, but some tribes are still archaic and they actually do these human sacrifices and these really morbid rituals, right? And it still it even happens in Mexico a lot with these darker types of occult religions. So this actually does happen. So it doesn't seem like it's off puts that would happen. However, Putra has since told Insider that he wasn't traveling to tribal regions when this collection was being made. At all. It's medically sourced. I know that's a weird story. Sorry, I went in the rabbit hole on that one, but I had to research that. That's wild. So it's happening again. This was just on March 2nd. Fancy human hand as a fashion accessory. So spine bags and human hands as a fashion accessory. All right, we're doing a dig on that later. That's crazy, huh? Let's see what you guys had. I'm pretty sure you guys. Who buys his designs? Hollywood. Yeah. Like I said, sometimes when these rich, I mean, I don't have to explain to you guys know this. When rich people they spend all their money and they can't find their joy in like their life, or like they always have to find thrills, like shallow thrills, I guess. They always push the boundaries. That's why you see a lot of this happen. Like they always push the bar. And so when they have everything that they have, like they can afford all these designers, all the bags, every single season, all these things, they always want to go for the thing that they can't have. That has to be illegal. Most part it is illegal. Ethically sourced from a surplus. NDG says ethically sourced from a surplus. Yeah. Pure demonic. I agree. This is strange and weird. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish off with this story here. More positive news looks to be that there is some work in the anti-trafficking industry to recognize the plight of boys that are exploited, because that is not talked about a lot. San Diego County launches awareness campaign of boys exploitation by sex traffickers. County officials announced an outreach campaign Thursday aimed at raising awareness about the exploitation boys by hopes of improving support services for male victims. The campaign organized by and this is coming from 10news.com. The campaign organized by San Diego County District Attorney's Office, Health and Human Services Agency, and the Child Welfare Services will include messaging on social media, radio, billboards, and bus transit posters. County officials cited national studies finding that as many as half of the commercially sexually exploited children in the United States are boys, and that the sexual exploitation of boys is underreported. Absolutely. To truly address the needs of all sex trafficking survivors, we must recognize the reality that trafficking of boys is more common than the public may realize, the San Diego County District Attorney Summer Stevens said. We have a responsibility to protect all children who are being trafficked. This latest outreach is an extension of our work to increase awareness, improve identification and reporting, and develop specialty services for survivors who are boys. According to the DA's office, the campaign is aimed at improving screening, identification, and services for boys who are sex trafficking victims. Outreach efforts will also include a free human trafficking summit to be held in Liberty Station on Friday regarding anti-trafficking efforts in San Diego region. The commercial sexual exploitation of children in our one we are proud to raise up and combat in partnership with the DA office, said Health and Human Services agencies. Girls are well-known targets, but so are astonishing number of boys and LGBT youth. All human trafficking is despicable, and we look forward to this creative campaign saving young boys from tragedy. I think this is actually a great start. We did read, did we read this? I don't think we read this, but there is actually one safe house that's starting up in Texas, I think in Denton. That's going to be like one of the nation's first safe houses for boys. And so I will try to get a little bit more information on that, but that's, more attention does need to shift to all trafficking victims, and there are a lot more boys than the media likes to talk about, even though the media doesn't talk about sex trafficking at all. But when we get these stories out about them. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Like I said, I'll not be hosting a podcast because I will be out. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for your support. If you are willing to support my work, you can go to The Daily Traffic. That's The Daily, TRAFFICK.com. There's a donate button there, as well as you can also go to nataliedenise.com/donate. I really appreciate you guys and your support. I am viewer funded, so this would be a great help to me. So thank you guys so much. Have a safe weekend. I will talk to you guys on Monday, God willing. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Unravel with Natalie Denise. Please give this podcast 5 stars.